He is absolutely the personification of the great American dream.
Claude's a true meaning of a self-made man.
He had to work twice as hard as an average person because of his race. It was harder on him than it would be somebody else, but he made it.
Each time Claude got knocked down for one reason or another, he came up tougher and came up working harder. That's why he is where he is today.
My name is Ulysses Sharp. I've worked for Claude Gibson for 55 years this year. And I've been very good friends, like brothers, for a long, long time. I met Claude, we were both teenagers in Casa Grande. I don't remember exactly where we met, maybe in the movies or something. I lived in Stanfield and he lived in Casa Grande. He was supposed to be one of the best cotton pickers in Casa Grande, and I thought I was one of the best in Stanfield. We always planned to get together and see who was really the best. I don't remember exactly what he said how much he said he could pick, but I could pick 500 pounds of cotton a day.
Well, Claude was a handshake man. If he told you something, then that's what was going to happen. And he would come by in his pickup, and if he said get in, you get in. And then he would take you for a ride. Might go quail hunting, might have to go somewhere else, but he always had something he wanted to tell you when he picked you up. Well, I'm in the hay business, and a hay bale weighs about 100 pounds. I don't know what they weighed when he was younger, but he was throwing hay bales in his younger life. And he was a strong man, and he was a good businessman. And to come from where he came from probably wasn't as easy as it is for most other people. He didn't have a pocket full of money when he started working. He worked for every dime I think he got.
Claude Gibson's helped a lot of people in this room. You know, when I was a young boy here in town, I knew him as Mr. Gibson. I knew he was an important man, but that's all I knew about him. Over time, I got to know him as Claude. As I got to know him, I started to learn and understand the difficult times he had had in life. And not just the difficult times working hard, trying to buck rows, stack hay by hand, pick cotton, nearly starved 3 times. Not just those difficult times, but I also learned of Claude's difficult times because of what people did to him. I learned that Claude moved out here to Arizona to escape a lynching in Texas. I learned about Claude being denied entry into restaurants and bars locally because of his skin color. I learned about Claude paying for his first truck loan multiple times because the white lender knew that the black borrower couldn't sue him. Claude never got bitter about these things. Instead, Claude persevered and he thrived.
Claude Gipson came to Casa Grande, Arizona in 1951, an 18-year-old boy with an 8th grade education and a 10-foot cotton sack and a pair of knee pads. And he set to work building his life here, picking over 600 pounds of cotton a day by hand for 3 cents a pound. He went on to work in cotton gins with Orville Bingham and Ed Ferguson and Buck Fairchilds at Anderson Clayton. Later on, he was at Wilbur Ellis, trading commodities there. He and Slim Sharp worked together from those days, building the business that became CG Commodities. Quite the outfit, trading in alfalfa, in cottonseed, and grains. With the help of Louis Maxey and some others, he built that business into what became probably the most famous commodity trader here in this whole entire valley. Along the way, Claude owned a restaurant, the Arches, with a couple of characters here in Casa Grande, and he branched out into the towing world. But none was closer to him than the cattle business. He loved the cattle almost as much as he loved his own family. First started with Tony Serrano with a company called Nemex, and it didn't go so well. They had to sell it out, and he started all over again. Throughout the years, he fed cattle with the Sawyers and with Pinal Feeding, and he still does today with Carl and David Stevenson at the Red Rock Cattle Feeding Company in Marana, Arizona. As a matter of fact, he was still trading for cattle this past week. Claude has a real love for the cows, and it has showed in his life.
When I came down here, a lot of the deals were done at McMasher's, which Claude and Dennis kind of propagated. They had his own table, he had his own private phone, and it was a pay phone, and this was back in the 80s when nobody had cell phones. He had a phone up there, it said Claude's phone. Had his own table in the back, and it was quite nice. It was nice to be able to visit with all the farmers and dairymen at one place. It was nice, essentially the watering hole, as they used to call it.
Over the years, Claude's, he's brokered a tremendous amount of cottonseed and alfalfa for the farmers. He's the one that has the contacts. He's the one that makes the deals with the dairymen. And he's helped the farmers by getting more money for their crops. Claude's been a pillar of the Casa Grande community for many years. He's been involved with the community. I know he's lent other farmers money when they were in a tight spot. And, he still stays very active. If you go to his house, he'll say, "Oh, I haven't been anywhere, I've just been sitting here, but I don't know anything." But he knows everything.
I have told anyone who would ever listen that Claude Gibson is the best boss I ever had. Claude is a very generous and loyal man. He does so much for his community and for his friends. He doesn't hesitate to help somebody in need. No matter what time I came to work in the morning, Claude was already there. He was already coming up with his questions that he had about a financial statement or something else that he had going on. He probably worked 7 days a week for his entire career.
The one thing I would say about Claude Gipson is that he was fair, honest, and probably became more of a mentor to me than a salesman. He was selling cottonseed, but he taught me about the cottonseed industry, how it worked, what it entailed, and what to look for, what to speculate, how to speculate on cottonseed. Claude wanted to make the sale, but more importantly to him, I felt, is that he wanted to make sure that I knew I was getting a good deal or not getting a good deal, which I, to this day, still admire about Claude. It was, he became a friend, he became a vendor, and a mentor all at the same time. To this day, Claude is in his 90s, and you can go talk to Claude and he'll let you know what his opinions are on the beef market. He'll give you his opinions on the cottonseed market, on alfalfa and everything. So still today, I'm still learning tidbits from Claude Gipson.
He's a man of many words. He shows a lot of tough love. I like his storytelling that he tells us of stuff back in the days. He's a true bona fide best commodity seller that I know, and he's a hustler. It inspires me that it shows you that anything is possible, that anything can be done from where he came from to where he's at today.
When speaking to Claude Gipson and the man he is, 3 profound words come to mind. The first one is honesty. Claude Gipson, if he gave his word, you could take it to the bank and further. He was honest in all his dealings, and when he began anything he did, he had honesty in his mind. The second word is effective. Claude Gipson worked hard his entire life, did everything he could to advance himself and his family, and then his community. He was good at what he did. He didn't have hardly any formal education, but yet his experience and his gained wisdom made him a thinker and a person to listen to. The last word that applies to him was enjoyable. Claude Gipson, with all his work and all the services he performed for his employees, his community, and those people doing business for him, always found how to have a good time and bring others along to have a good time with him.
So when Claude decided to retire, he was nice enough to contact us, and because he wanted somebody to take care of his farmers and his dairymen. So we bought his business 12 years ago, and we've enjoyed Claude's relationship since then. And we hopefully carried on the life of Claude with the respect that the dairymen and the farmers had.
Claude Gipson is the person that you can look to and say,
if you work hard and set your mind to it, you can do just about anything that you want to do in this country.
Now fast forward a lifetime later after these trials and tribulations, and in 2008, Barack Obama was elected president, and there was no one more excited than Claude Gibson about Obama's election as president. As a matter of fact, Claude received an invitation to the inauguration at the White House. Claude took that invitation and he framed it, and he put it right there in his front room where we played cards. Claude was proud of that invitation for two reasons. Number one, it said a lot about where our country had come over his lifetime. But it also told a personal story about how far he had come during his lifetime. From a near lynching in Texas to an invitation to the White House for an inauguration. Claude's interest and Pinal County's interests align. He's tried to help people all of his life. That's what we do here at Pinal County. I'm indebted personally to Claude for the help he's given me.
Being a charter member of Pinal County, this is not the first time we tried to give Claude this honor. I think our first year we started, Claude Gipson was our first choice. I'm just so thrilled, and it does my heart very well that Claude have finally allowed us to say, Claude, we want to honor you. And he's the type of person that needed to be honored from the get-go, and it's time. And I'm glad that Claude has said, okay, go ahead and do it.
I think this is a great honor for him, and I'm very proud of him. I'm proud to have worked for him, and I'm proud that other people are acknowledging him and his hard work within the community.
Congratulations to you. It's a great honor to be able to be up here today to tell you thank you for all you've done and what you showed many people through the years that you've worked in the industry, especially the seed industry. Again, thank you very much for letting us honor you today.
I'd like to say that Claude Gipson is a fine man, and that Claude Gipson was a very good friend of mine. I didn't always understand every single word he said, but I sure helped him drink his wine, and he always had some mighty fine wine. Joy to your world, Claude. Thank you for being here.